Oh, there's a lot of you. Hello. Oh, I have cards. This is like my transitional object right now. This is bananas. This really is. I am so grateful to have made it through this program with all of you, to be doing this work. And I'm actually really grateful to all of the graduates for graduating today. I thought for a really long time about what to say. I think other speakers have covered this idea that it's scary to do this and it's difficult to find something to say that hasn't been said before. And so I stopped trying that. I am a white, able-bodied, cisgender woman, and I cannot represent all of you. And I don't plan to try to represent all of you. But I do, thank you. I want to share a little bit, though, about what my time at Naropa has meant to me. And I want to thank you all for being a part of it. Even if we have never met, we have shared this time and this space together, and we would not have had the experiences we did without every single other person in this room. That includes family, friends, faculty and staff, moms, of course, and just everyone who's here to support us, right? So someone recently asked me, and I think I saw her here today, so thank you. She asked me, how did you know that you were drawn to work with messiness? I was presenting on the work that I do with human beings who live at the margin in some way. Folks who have endured immense trauma and folks who have caused immense trauma, who have tried to self-medicate with substances, self-destruction, and rage. And the question hit me right in the chest. I can feel it now. And I was really, really grateful for it. And I'm repeating it here because the question could be asked of any of us graduating. This messiness is the basic, excruciating, inexorable messiness of being a human, especially right now. This messiness pours out onto the page and the canvas, and it vibrates out into space through authentic movement and dance. It is passed and shared among bodies and heart minds in a classroom or a therapy office or a commencement hall, and it is screamed into being at a protest. And it lives in the hearts of those who are awake to what is happening right now. The term messiness may sound simplistic and it may sound trite. Someone told me it did, but I went with it anyway. It is a dynamic way of describing how traumatized we are right now. A term that leaves space both for the possibility of healing and the truth that healing will never be final. It will always be a process. The idea of messiness allows us to hold our shame and our humanity simultaneously, rather than thinking, as I have so often done, that the one eclipses the other. And this allows us to do our work. I practiced therapy with a man who had sexually assaulted a young child. And this child knew and trusted him. And he had been abused, this man, throughout his own childhood. And when he began treatment, he told me in complete despair, I am a lost cause already. In his haze of shame and sense of complete irreparability, he could not touch into the pain he had caused. His mind was consumed with his own worthlessness, and the girl who was the victim in his case was a shadow. And as we worked together to reclaim this man's felt sense of his own humanity, he actually began to experience the weight of the pain that he had caused. Rather than destroying him, this experience reconfirmed his basic goodness, his humanness. And it allowed him to continue to build empathy for the child and himself simultaneously. He asked me in the first session, am I fixable? Can I fix this? And I replied as honestly as I knew how. No, I said. It is not fixable, but it is workable. We can work with this. In the realm of healing, there are no lost causes and there are no perfect fixes. There is simply infinite compassionate work within the infinite mess. I am drawn to work with messiness because it could have, and at points almost killed me, or at least derailed me. As an adolescent, I tried to clean up my own messiness with anything I could get my hands on: self-abandonment, self-aggression, and substances, as well as writing and truth-seeking and the whole mess of it. And I was standing last night, and I was looking in the mirror, and that 15-year-old girl was looking back at me. And because of a combination of fortune, awareness, and crucially, privilege, I was allowed by people who trusted me, hi Mom, to keep bumbling through my personal mess, to get to know it, and eventually to befriend it. Many are not allowed this privilege. While at Naropa, I have learned to stop trying to clean up or avoid messiness. To be of service in any useful way, I must be willing to wade directly into the mess, to see it clearly, its violence, cavernous emptiness, and all of its terror, and to love it fiercely. And through radically loving into the messiness, particularly the ways that we are ripped apart by each other, the fact that some are ripped apart disproportionately and viciously because of the color or size of their bodies, their ways of expressing gender or sexuality, because of what they stand for or of what they call others to be aware. The ways that so many of us do the ripping and cause immeasurable harm. When I began to love into even this, I found that for the first time, I could love myself. I am not talking about feel-good, delusional self-love. I mean unflinching. There is serious work to be done, and I honor myself and others enough to do it, even when it feels terrifying and ugly and unbearable self-love. This is the kind of love that, in turn, we must direct out into the obliviousness, entitlement, and violence so prevalent in our country right now. This love does not have to be pretty, but it must be empathic, honest, and enduring. To further answer the initial question, I am drawn to work with messiness because it feels imperative to remind myself and the people with whom I sit that immense suffering is workable. This is what all of you graduating today, all of you, are doing in the disciplines you have chosen, finding your own ways to give voice to the messiness and how you are working with it, exploring it, and maybe befriending it. To keep reminding yourselves and your own families, peers, students, clients, audiences, and communities that within all of this, loving ourselves and each other is so very possible. So like I said when I began, thank you for graduating. Thank you for giving yourselves to your work, whatever it is. You are deeply needed. Thank you.